Hey guys, welcome. It's your friendly neighborhood bee, and let's get straight into it, shall we? From r/am I overreacting to my husband lying about our sperm donor. All right. Due to our fertility issues on both our parts and attempting for a second child for 3 years, my husband and I opted for a sperm donor for conception, and I am now currently 5 months pregnant with the donor baby. Well, congratulations. The whole process and choice was really hard on both of us, but especially my husband. He flipped back and forth whether he was or was not willing to go with the sperm donor route, but eventually told me he was okay with it. When I first got pregnant, he definitely seemed to struggle with the fact, but in the last few months has seemed to come to accept it. However, he really struggled with telling his family, especially his dad, who were a little less than enthused with our choice. He was very concerned with their judgment about it. Well, his dad was staying with us this weekend, and I overheard the two of them talking after a few drinks about the pregnancy. His dad was essentially saying that if it were him, he never would have been okay with it, and he asked about the donor. I heard my husband straight up lie to his dad about the features of the donor, making the donor sound perfect and more traditional than what he actually was. He told his dad that the donor was really tall, super athletic, really muscular. None of these things were actually true. I am hurt because I feel the fact that he lied to his dad means that he is essentially ashamed of the origins of our baby to be, and thus possibly our baby. I haven't yet told my husband that I overheard the conversation. Am I overreacting? Should I not be upset about the fact that he lied to his dad about this? Mm, I think you're overreacting just a little bit, but I do have a very large question. Why did you never go to therapy before agreeing to have a donor baby? Why? Especially considering he was flip-flopping, going back and forth about saying yes, no, I am okay with it, I'm not okay with it. Why why did you never ever go to therapy and truly think about whether or not that he's okay with having a donor baby? Because I don't know. He truly does need therapy. I think that you guys need couples therapy, and I think you both should get individual therapy because at this point, the baby's here. Well, not here, but like you're pregnant. You are pregnant. You cannot, like, you can't get rid of the baby's here. You can't get rid of the baby. It exists. Sorry, but the baby exists. I don't know. You can't just snap your fingers and now there's no baby. Like, you need therapy. He needs therapy because he might become resentful of the child and neglect the child, whether subconsciously or consciously. He might neglect the baby. And that wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good. I don't know. I think you might be overacting just a little, but I think you guys need help. You need help. Anyway, if you guys enjoy listening to stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm here every day. Next victim. Am I the butthole for teaching my nephew how to swim against his parents' wishes? Spicy. Spicy. When I say swim, I really mean teaching him how to tread water and doggy paddle in the beginnings of breaststroke. My nephew is 6 years old. When he was 2, he fell into a pool at a friend's house after a gate was left open, and his friend's mother saved him. My sister in law was understandably very traumatized by the experience, and since then, he has been banned from being by a pool or even close to any body of water. This poor kid went to the beach and was not allowed to be more than 10 feet close to the surf. My sister in law is in therapy, and they keep saying eventually they'll teach him how to swim, but at this rate, he will be a teenager before this has happened. I was at my mother in law's house this weekend, and my nephews and nieces were there to use her subdivision's pool. Nephew was being looked after by her, and she was going to stay behind with him while my husband and I and some of the parents took the rest of the children swimming. I said, screw it, and took my nephew along. My in-laws were all saying sister-in-law would be very angry, and I knew she would be, but I think it's insane that he has no ability to even try and rescue himself if he falls into water again. I was with him in the water the entire time. He loved it, wasn't scared at all. I did not try to hide it from brother-in-law and sister-in-law at all. They were very, very angry. My sister-in-law, because I took him swimming, and my brother-in-law, because I upset his wife. My brother-in-law actually told my husband he thinks it's a good idea nephew started swimming, but he has to hide it inside with his wife, which is understandable, obviously. Sister-in-law wants an apology and a promise not to do it again, and I won't give it. I'm not actually sorry at all. And if they don't want to try to teach him, I will continue to do so. Number one, because it's safety. And number two, because it is extremely depressing when we're all going to the pool and they tell him he has to stay behind and he cries about it. Am I the butthole? Bit of a controversial take, just a little bit. I think no. I I get that the sister-in-law has experienced trauma, right? Like her baby almost died. That's very difficult. That's hard, right? That is a very traumatic experience. Your baby almost drowned, right? But OP's right. Drowning is silent and it's fast, and this boy needs to learn how to save himself at least a little bit. And he's 6 years old and doesn't know how to swim. I would also be wanting to teach this boy at least how to doggy paddle something. Learn how to float, doggy paddle, learn how to move yourself, you know? I just, you tend to not want to go against the parents' wishes, but at this point, the sister-in-law is being so overprotective. She's putting him in danger by being so overly protective, which is not a good thing. She's putting him in by danger by trying to keep him away from the danger. No, you're not the butthole. Next victim. Am I the butthole for cutting off my son after his mom passed away? All right. I have been my son's dad since he was 1. He is 27 now. I was friends with his mom for years before she got pregnant, and the biological dad took off. Oh, deadbeat dad, lovely. I was around helping her with stuff, and one thing led to another, and we got together. It wasn't really planned or anything, it just happened. Her and I cared for each other deeply, but it wasn't some huge romantic story. We were a partnership. We got married when Mark, my son, was 3, and I adopted him when he was 5. Tammy, my wife, took care of Mark, me, and my house. I worked and paid for everything. It was a good life. I have never wanted kids, but I loved Mark and gave him everything I could, not just material goods. I was there for him growing up. I attended all his extracurricular activities that I could. I taught him how to ride a bike, how to change his oil. I took him on my vacations. I made sure that he graduated from university debt free. He was always a good kid. University changed him. He became distant. He would call to talk to his mom, but not to me. It turns out he met a girl who had also been adopted, but she had baggage she decided to share with him. He had contacted his biological He had contacted his biological father, and I was being displaced. Mark was everything to Tammy, and she supported him in everything. As his mom, I would expect no less. But it still hurt to be cut out of his life. Yeah, that would hurt. When Tammy got sick, Mark and I would see each other when he came around to see her, but we would barely talk. When she passed away, I saw him at the funeral, and then only heard from him to settle her estate, which was not much. She had a very small life insurance policy that she left Mark. Everything else was mine. Her bank account only had the money we budgeted for her. There wasn't much in it because she had been subsidizing Mark's life since he graduated. Like clockwork, every month I would deposit her share of our budget, and most of it went to him. Tammy and I had separate life insurance policies that we set up. It was more substantial than the other one. We originally set them up in case anything happened to us that could have money to live and take care of Mark. I was the beneficiary since I was paying for it. Now that his mom is gone and not helping to pay his bills, Mark is calling me for help. Oh, is he? I said no. I said he had the money from his mom's life insurance. Everything else is quite literally mine. Even the car she drove was leased by me. He is upset with me and said that I obviously had never thought of him as a son if I was willing to do this. I told him to ask his biological dad for help since that's the one who he wanted in his life. His wife, Sarah, the girl from university, called me and said I would be cut out of their lives and that I would never see my grandchildren. They don't have kids yet, but I suppose they are planning on starting a family. I told her that I was okay with that, and I am. I miss my wife Tammy, but I'm okay. I have my dogs and my job. I see my sisters and their kids and my grandkids, my nieces and nephews. So am I the butthole for cutting off financial support to a full-grown man with a job and a wife? Uh, no, you're not. You're not at all. Because what they're saying is, we only love you if you give us money, and we hate you if you don't. Like, yeah, no, they're giving you conditional love, and you're giving them unconditional love. This is not okay. Like, no, no, I, no, I don't like this. No, you're not the butthole. Absolutely not. Not the butthole. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys!